Hey guys, back with another video. Today I want to talk specifically about the psychology of magic, and I'm going to use it specifically in one trick and kind of explain different aspects of it, because magicians know and use more psychology than most psychologists do. And science is consistently trying to catch up to magic in what we know and what we do in practical uses. So there's this trick. People do it in different ways. You can do it of like, you have two different coins, a gold one and a silver one, or I've seen like chess pieces, a white one and a black one, whatever you want. I'm just using one coin. We're gonna lower the angle here a little bit. And it's normal coin, and you give it to the spectator. You tell them, okay, you're gonna take it in your hand, put your hands behind your back, and mix up the coin as much as you want between your two hands. And whenever you're ready, put both hands forward like this. And their job is to hide the coin from you. And you're gonna figure out which one it is. Like, oh, it's in your left hand, or the right hand. And then they'll open the throw it, and vice versa. And you're able to get it right every time. There's lots of different ways this works. It only, in my experience, works with specific people. And we'll get into that. There's two types of people I've discovered with this trick. There's those who are confident liars and those who are not confident liars. A confident liar thinks they're not going to get caught. So they'll do things more right in front of you because they're more sure of themselves. A less confident liar, they'll try to hide it more and they'll put it under things. And I'll kind of explain. So with this, different ways you can do it is, one, you can guess like, oh, I got it wrong. We're going to try different things. If you tell them cross their arms, whichever hand's lower, that typically is going to have the coin. Unless they're a confident liar, then they'll put it on top. They're more bold and upfront. This is the minority of people. Most people are going to go with the under, so 9 times out of 10 you're going to get it correct. You tell them cross their arms. Even they do it up here, whatever hand's under, that's the one that's going to have the coin. Different ones too, you can tell them, is it in this, say yes both times, is it in this hand? Say yes, is it in this hand? Yes. If they over enunciate it, they think it's in this hand. Again, if it's a non-confident liar, they're trying to push it. A confident liar, they'll do less. So different things you can show with like a simple magic trick, which I find really interesting, and you can gauge what kind of person somebody is with the psychology used in, again, a magic trick. You're guessing, you have a 50-50 shot of which hand the coin's in and stuff. And I don't know, I just find that really interesting. There's other ways to do this trick as well. Chris Ramsey has his called Chess Guess, which he does it with the white and black pawns, and his is a surefire way. You can use the psychology as well, but the method behind his, I'm not going to give it away. The method behind his, you get the correct piece every time. And yeah, and it's fully inspectable and everything, which is super nice. And just kind of wanted to show this as an example of the things magicians think about and the psychology applied. This is a really great book. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend The Psychology of Magic. I don't remember who it's by. If I'm doing what I'm supposed to, I'll put it here or something. But highly recommend this book. So the context of it was written by two people who were magicians, like hobbyist magicians in like high school, early college, finished their college degrees, became psychologists, clinical psychologists, all this other stuff, and scientists, different stuff like that. And then kind of remembered, oh, hey, I used to do magic tricks, and they reverted back to that a little bit and then used their knowledge of magic to science. So they wrote this whole book. It's basically a textbook, so it's not quite like a magic tutorial book or anything. It's a textbook, but specifically about the psychological uses of magic and the things magicians use. And it's super interesting. Highly recommend. Even if you're not a magician, super interesting read. They talk about a lot of different things like information bias or egocentric bias or different forces and the way they work and free will, your appearance of free choice of what actually seems most free versus not, and stuff like that, and engaging it from like the spectator versus the magician's bias, like knowledge bias and stuff. Super interesting stuff. And then taking the information and applying it, a lot of it people know of subconsciously, or like you're aware of it but you haven't like realized it, type of thing. Like for example, if you hear something like, oh, that's true, but I've never thought of it that way before, but you know it's true, it's like that type of thing. So it kind of makes you more aware of things, and you're able to do things more intentionally, as well as apply those things to either your performances or whatever you do. So from a magician's perspective, you can apply those things you learned to your performances and make them even better, because like, oh, I didn't think about this specific thing, I can compensate for that and then make it better. Or even non-magicians, you can apply the psychological things for anything. You can apply it in conversation, you can apply it in your workplaces, whatever. It's super useful information I think everyone should know, or at least learn about to some degree. And it might not be interesting to everyone, but different things. different ones I've talked about before is like, oh, if I do something over here, I can force your gaze here. And if I look up at you and ask you a question, you're more likely to make eye contact with me and forget what's going on over here. Or Juan Tamariz does this a lot. I mentioned in other videos, being able to make people forget things or remember things however you want, even if you forget something that happened. Like Danny Ortiz does this in a trick of his where he'll mix up the cards and everything, and he'll be doing everything with the cards. And at the end, he says, "I didn't touch the cards the whole time." And the way the spectator remembers it, like, yeah, it was completely hands off, even though he did a bunch with it. Or another one, in Lose Like a Force, is pick any card, remember your card, you're thinking of your card, and then later it's like, okay, you thought of a card, right? Remember your thought of card. And it makes it seem like in the spectator's mind they thought of that chosen card, they didn't pick it out, but the way he verbalized it is different, and that's super interesting. Different stuff like that. Kind of a brief video, a lot of big concepts kind of summarized. If you want me to go into more depth on any of these, let me know down below, and hit the subscribe button, like it, share it, all that fun stuff, and see you next time.